What's going on, brothers? JK, your brother in the struggle. I am the founder of Elevated Recovery and head coach at the Porn Reboot coaching system. We help ambitious, high-performing business owners, executives, and professionals end their out-of-control secret behavior with porn, sex, and masturbation in the quickest time possible. Today I have a message that I'm not too excited to share, but I'm going to do so anyway. For the past 10 years, I've been coaching men to freedom from pornography addiction. Long enough to know what happens to men who don't seek professional help. I have a confession to make. In case you're wondering, I'm hiking Arches National Park in Utah, I believe. My coaching peers, they often encourage, letting go emotionally, of potential clients, brothers who won't sign up to the program or who won't even seek help elsewhere. My peers are like, let them go, JK. I struggle with this, I'll be honest with you. And this is the very reason why I have 4 Reboot strategists screening hundreds of applications per week. I simply cannot forget or let go of a man who is so overwhelmed by guilt and shame, so crushed by years of acting out sexually that he rejects help. And honestly, it eats me up inside to think that he has gone back to his behavior because he's too embarrassed to seek professional help, too scared of the prospect of a life without the intensity of pornography, too overcome by what success implies. And I remember scores of conversations from a decade ago with desperate men who were so relieved to find out that they weren't alone in their porn addiction. They were relieved that suicide might not be an option after all. I remember thinking way back in the day that castration or suicide were legitimate options for a man like me. Some of you might think that's extreme, but that's how low I had fallen. Porn addiction is the most insidious compulsive behavior which exists today, and I mean that. For some, its impact is instantaneous. For many others, the pain comes much later in life. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for any man over the age of 35 who reaches out to us. The older you get, the more challenging it becomes to seek help. And the more jaded, the more you have to lose and the less hopeful you actually become. So this one is for you, all right? Now, give me a second right here. I have to navigate this little hill. But I do want to say that this is one of the least favorite videos that I've shot. And that's because, give me a second, I just want to make sure I don't die here. It's not my favorite because I don't like using fear as a motivator. But there's no denying that it's one of 3 reasons why men quit porn. First reason is love, second is duty, and the third is out of fear. Now, love could be misconstrued as infatuation or something else. Duty could be misguided. But fear, fear is fear. You know what it is. There's no mistaking it. Fear has always been my personal motivator. This is for those of you who refuse to harness their fear. Those of you who refuse to speak to a therapist, a coach, or even seek help from SAA groups, sex anonymous groups. For a decade, I've had the same brothers, hundreds of brothers, hitting me up for tips when I offered coaching every evening, free of charge for 2 years. You were 22 years old. Now you're 32. 10 years. And your life is still the same. You were 39, about to turn 40 years old. I told you that this was your last shot, brother, to get your shit together and maybe even get into a relationship, maybe even start a family. 10 years ago, you wanted to think about it. You wanted to wait till maybe I offered a discount. And I told you I never offer discounts. The only discount would probably be the ticket to my funeral, something like that. We both thought that was funny. Well, this year, you'll be turning fucking 50 years old. still single, still addicted to pornography. Listen, some men are going to be wiped out in the years to come. If you couldn't make it in an easy decade, no recessions, no pandemics, no OnlyFans, how the fuck do you think you're going to cope in the world to come? We are living in a time of transition and adversity where only the truly focused, the truly disciplined, and the mentally strong are going to survive and thrive. Well, not survive, but thrive. Men using porn, sex, and masturbation as coping mechanisms, you may survive as nobodies, but you're certainly not going to thrive, okay? Your life will be a constant struggle to keep your head above water. Years of struggle, brother, they will wear you down. And physically, it will reflect in your body. Pudgy and soft from stress eating, weak and fueled by sugar and caffeine. Wonder why your wife won't have sex with you? Because you can't get hard. You chose pornography over her. You've become boring. You chose the comfort of domesticity over adventure and learning. No one is having sex with a person that they argue with over the dishes. Wonder why some women won't date you. For my single brothers, you don't bother to groom yourself. You dress comfortable, dress like shit. A grown-ass man dressing like a schoolboy. You're overweight. Your best facial features are obscured by the bloat of fast food that you stuff into your face. You're entitled to tens, right? Hotties. Because you watch porn and you're barely a 5 on your best day. You lack ambition. You play video games. You smoke weed. You live to be entertained. Even when you get a girlfriend, she'll have a sugar daddy, probably leave you, step out on you because you're incapable of being a provider, unwilling to implement the most basic of disciplines. Fitness. That's the most basic, in case you're wondering. The best you're gonna get is the lowest hanging fruit, and you'll hang on to her for dear life because you don't believe you'll ever do better. Some of you are already doing it. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. So good luck secretly jerking off for the rest of your life to the women that you truly desire. Nobody gives a fuck. No one is coming to save you, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that, oh, you chose the right partner. Deep inside, you know that you sold yourself short. So if you want someone to lie to you, go and visit your, what do they call them? Couples counselor. Mentally, you're weak and stunted, unable to prioritize, overwhelmed, and constant diet of unfiltered garbage information which you've allowed into your mind. The news, YouTube nonsense, podcast hopping, Reddit, Wikipedia, researching, Twitter, fucking updating with what's happening. And the sad part is that you think you're knowledgeable because your head is just a burgeoning mass of factoids. When was the last time that you actually created something? The last time you formulated an idea, your own unique idea, in long form? And I don't mean, bloviating and arguing on social media to make a point which somebody else fed you, right? Incapable of thinking for yourself. Basically, you're a willing participant in the hive mind, always seeking validation of the crowd before you open up your mouth. Like I said, weak, emotionally. What emotions? Your range is limited, right? Instead of the emotional capacity of a Boeing 747, able to fly intercontinentally, you're more like a paper plane, only able to get to the back of the classroom. Destined for the trash. Every day, the trash can. Numb, irritable, angry, depressed, lonely, excited, and afraid. What else did I miss? Nothing. That's all you've got. That's it. Spiritually, you're bankrupt. You're all out of prayers. What sort of God will answer your prayers when you refuse? You refuse to get help. When you are full of excuses, full of justifications. Oh, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I am a follower of Christ. What the fuck does that even mean? Really? What does it mean? Because I hear it a lot. Your religious affinity is no longer about spirituality. At this point, it's just some shit that you're saying to make yourself feel part of something bigger than you. As if saying, I'm a Christian means that I'm actually a good person. Your browser history, your secret apps, your external hard drive, they tell a different story. My religious brother. And now you're void of empathy for other human beings. Completely void of it. Selfish. Only caring for yourself. For your pain, your problems, your appetites. Living against your values. You know, you're just a hypocrite to your deepest standards. This spiritual bankruptcy is going to eat you up from the inside, brother. It's like a gnawing cancer of the soul. And it's going to take many years to fully mature. Now, perhaps you'll end up like some of the men who show up later in life to our program, empty, cold from decades of lying, and we can help you. But you've been trying desperately to erase years of living a double life, and it takes a lot of work. I don't want you to be there. Socially, you're isolated, dependent on toxic friends and family for validation. And you should have removed them from your life, but you can't because you live in fear of going out into the world on your own. So you hang on to them and they infect you every day with their negativity and with their weak beliefs. God, it's hot out here, man. But it's good for what I have to share. They're gradually wearing you down. They breed codependency. And one day you'll wake up an angry man, forever mired in this fucked up family drama that you can never escape. Some of you are already there. Let's talk about your finances. Stagnation. You should have leveled up, but you chose porn and masturbation as your coping mechanism, right? So what happens now? Well, now it limits you. That hunger for growth, which should have spurred you on, is always blunted by your orgasm. It's never even given a chance. You can't even be hungry for success. And the crazy thing is that you know you've been stuck for years, but instead of reaching out for help, you let your shame eat you up. And now you pat yourself on the back with some bullshit platitudes like, oh, you know, I'm more fortunate than others, I'm blessed. I'm just thankful to be well off, you know, I'm just thankful to be well off. Yeah, I know what bullshit smells like because I was the king of dishing it out when I was in that situation. Let's face the facts, okay? You've given up. You've given up on trying to control your porn addiction. You know, when you fail enough times, believe it or not, it is going to show up on your bank balance. It doesn't mean your bank balance is going to be low. It just means it's not going to grow to where you want it to grow. That, or you'll be the exception, living in a constant fear of losing all that you've built up over the years. Honestly, you know what? It's pretty hot out here. I'm done. It's pretty depressing talking about this. My point is, for a decade, brothers have been giving me excuses and have been waiting. This is what the lives of those brothers are like. And I'm not guessing. The brothers reach out to my Reboot strategists, right? There's so many men who told me 7 years, 8 years, 9 years ago, they're like, I got this. You're probably not gonna be here in 5 years. You're probably just some dude who's passing through doing some internet marketing thing. I was naive. Like, I didn't know anything about marketing or any of that shit. I just really wanted to help guys. I still want to. Just a lot more sophisticated about it now, right? To be honest. But I was like, nah, dude, like, I was giving away calls for free, guys. But no. Guys are like, nah, I'm good. I can figure this out on my own. Hey, brothers. So it got a little bit too hot out there. Not only did I overheat, but my phone overheated. So I'm just gonna finish and conclude that rant by saying that don't wait any longer. It's a very scary thing to have conversation with men who have waited 5 years, who have waited 10 years to seek help, all right? We don't know if we're gonna get a second shot at this. All we know is that we have this one life. There are certain things you can do in 1 decade of your life that it's not that you can't do it in another decade. It's just that it might be a little bit more challenging. And don't want to wait to find out. So please, seek some sort of help, right? You can speak to one of our Reboot strategists. Use the link in the description below this video, not on the video, below the video. And if you don't want to work with us, that's fine too. Just speak to a therapist. Get on the BetterHelp app. Find an SAA, a 12-step group in your area. Just start in some way. It is better than nothing, okay? And for those of you who maybe felt that I was a little harsh on this video, it's not really directed at you, all right? Probably isn't. This is just for those brothers who have not taken action, all right? Don't take any of this personally. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll speak to you later on.